multidisciplinary podcast covering any topic that I can find a resource on. It's recorded right here in LA, and I am your host, Alex, just another wannabe comedian who cannot stick to one topic. And today, with me, I have back now three-time Los Angeles guest, Mr. Sean. How you doing today, Sean? How's it going?
Good. Let's make it a hat trick. I like
Yeah.
being a repeat guest. I'm the top guest, right?
You are now. You are officially the top guest now, and mostly I had brought you on to talk business in the past, but today we're talking the business of
Business of pleasure.
the business of pleasure. We don't have a defined show outline today. There are a few things I wanted to get to, but I am admittedly putting this podcast together quite quickly because I had a YouTube video blow up, and I say blow up in a very small sense of the word. It was a blow up for me, and I think we might have some new visitors to the Los Angeles podcast, so I wanted to ensure they had some top tier, top quality content if they were to check it out. So I brought on Sean, and he's gonna tell us what's going on in his world, and I'll tell you what's going on in mine. So what's new with you, Sean? How are you doing today?
Good. I kind of feel like part of this podcast should just be you analyzing the comments on the video that kind of blow
No,
up. I think I think that
no.
alone could be a topic.
I mean, for my mental health, I've chosen to not look at them anymore. Look, there are some really nice people out there on the internet, and I really appreciate the kind
Mhm.
comments saying I did a good job. My YouTube video was about the finale, or I guess just the whole series of Succession,
Mhm.
and there's some very kind comments that said I did a great analysis of what I pointed out, just something I noticed. I didn't even say I liked the show, by the way, or that it was like amazing or anything. I thought what I was saying was so non-controversial.
Or
However, many found a lot of controversy in what I had to say. So some of the comments have struck a chord with me, and haven't felt great. But I got to bed around 2:30 last night, and here we are.
What do you think it would have been like if you'd actually been controversial about the show? Like if
Oh, I
you
have no
because
idea.
because it was pretty I agree, it was pretty middle of the road, just a thoughtful analysis on something you noticed. and it got some
Some heat.
polarizing comment. It got some heat. So I really want to know what you think would have happened if you were just
No,
like
I purposefully did not want to make like a review. Well, first of all, everyone does a review of Succession, and I'm sure I could find 1,000 videos saying it's overrated. And I'm sure I could find 1,000 videos that say it's the greatest series that ever lived. And I don't even want to share my opinion on this podcast about the show after I saw how
okay.
much heat I
All right.
got for that. But
Okay.
yeah, I think it would have
That's
been,
fair.
I think it could have gotten ugly had I decided to say anything one way or the other on a polarizing topic, like whether I liked something or not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up
No,
if you were
that's
trying to
fine.
move away from your past.
No, that's the point of this show. And then yeah, that was kind of the latest thing with me. Other than I got called into this crazy project at work over the
Mm,
weekend that took up my whole Saturday, and then I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Have you seen that one yet, Sean?
no, you know, I don't go to theaters and watch Marvel movies. You have
What do
to
you mean? You
physically
saw
drag me.
Ant-Man with
Yeah,
me?
you have to physically drag me to go see one of those.
Did I make you go see
Uh,
any others
I feel like I saw two different Ant-Man
with
movies
me?
in theaters with you. Yeah,
I know I
I
took
want to.
Adam to see Ant-Man 2. I didn't think I took you to.
Okay, okay, I could be wrong. But no, the last movie I saw in theaters was the Spider-Man movie. No, that's a
Oh,
lie. The
no?
latest one with like Tobey Maguire. No, that's a lie. The latest one was the second Black Panther movie,
Oh, you
which
did see that.
we will not discuss on this
Oh,
podcast.
that's not for today. Okay.
It's not for today. It's
All
not for
right.
today. But that is the last time I've been to a movie theater.
Okay. Yeah, you've missed a couple well, I guess just popular movies since then, right? So you missed Ant-Man 3, you missed Air, the Michael Jordan movie, or the movie about signing Michael Jordan to a contract.
That movie went like direct to
Wait, did you see
Amazon
it?
Prime. Yeah, I've seen it.
What did
It
you
it, it
think?
was like it was amazing. It was incredible. I actually
That
went
was
back
incredible.
and watched The Last Dance because of that movie. And The Last Dance is even better
Well, yeah, The
than
Last Dance
Air.
is good. The Air is
You didn't like Air?
I mean, I thought it was a well-made movie, but the entire time I was thinking, the story of a guy signing a shoe deal is boring. Like, I don't get, this is so boring. Why do I, like, I know
Really?
he's going to sign the deal. What am I stressed out about?
I found it was one of the like few movies that could hold my attention the whole way through. Like most movies, I think have too much going on, and
That
this
definitely
was
wasn't
just
this movie's
this.
problem.
This was not this movie.
No, I mean, the acting was good and it was well paced, and I suppose it's well shot or whatever. I don't know. I just was like, this is not a very interesting story. I don't know who thought this would make a great movie.
Well, okay. Granted, I had never been one to follow sports
Mm-hmm.
like growing up, right? So I didn't know anything about Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. That was never like in my upbringing. So I am getting all this for the first time. It could be very boring probably for someone who was like grew up watching NBA with their parents. They're like,
Yeah.
I already know this story. I already know about deals. I already know about endorsements. I already know about Nike. I've read Shoe Dogs or whatever. I had not done any of this pre-work.
All right. It was good. The only thing I remember that felt not good was Ben Affleck playing Phil Knight. Whenever Ben Affleck was on the screen, it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was good. Although there's some article that recently came out that said almost everything is made up in that movie. Did you see
Oh,
that?
okay.
No, I mean, I guess it doesn't
Well,
matter. It's a movie,
I
so you know,
yeah, and I actually in the Last Dance, the agent, right, who represented
David Falk.
Michael David Falk said he was the one looking to build a shoe, like build a brand for Michael, right?
Mhm.
Build a Jordan type brand. And he went and pitched that to the different shoe companies. Whereas in Air, if you remember, they said they invented that
Mhm.
concept. Like they were like, what if we built a brand around the shoe? Um,
Oh,
but it
yeah,
seems like not something you would just do out of the blue unless you were somewhat told that that's like what the client wanted.
right. I
So
don't.
it makes sense that that part might be a little made up.
Yeah, I know there's a little bit of controversy between David Falk and Nike and whatever his name was, Sonny Vaccaro, I think his name was, Matt Damon's character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
no, it was a good movie. I just found overall that the story itself was just uh, at the end of the day, it's like the whole movie is preparing for a meeting, and then the meeting, and then the follow-up phone call from that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of my day-to-day. That's a lot of my life already. So I I didn't get the escapism I was looking for when I went to the movies that
Right.
night. But no, it was good. It's not a bad movie. If you haven't seen
How,
it and you're interested, go watch it.
how much did you love that all their work involved creating zero presentation? There wasn't a single slide. All they had was that reel, the highlight reel.
What do you mean? Just the fact that in the 90s meetings look totally different? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. Like in the 90s, I don't remember there being a packet handed. Maybe there was a small packet that
I
they
think there
created.
was.
There were like no figures, no slides from what I remember. Maybe they were like, this would be even boringer of a movie if
Yeah,
we
if we had
if we
numbers.
showed that. But I was like, what kind of meeting is this? Like it was an actual train wreck. And
Yeah.
then like a haphazard speech kind of saved it.
Yeah, where's the
Uh,
PowerPoint? Where's the Google Sheets? Where's
right. I guess this was pre pre Bill Gates. But yeah, it's like so meetings used to just be like speeches.
I guess
Yeah,
it wasn't even the 90s, it was the 80s.
it was the 80s. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
No, yeah, it was that was I went and saw that one by myself. I was in Silicon Valley for work, and I had a free night, and I just went and saw it alone, and it was about what I expected. Yeah, I feel like I'm giving the impression that I hate everything, so I want to give it some credit. It was a solid B plus.
You you comedians have to hate everything, right? There's nothing sacred,
There's
nothing can
nothing
just be like
funny. There's nothing funny about liking something. So why would
that's
I
true.
ever do that?
That's true. That's true.
You know, I would, since we just to go back to my YouTube topic, I wanna pitch an idea for a video I really want to make. And if
Okay.
any of my new YouTube subscribers are listening, feel free to hit me up on Twitter at HossmanLouder and tell me if you think this is a good or bad idea. But I want to make like a top 5 dumbest ways people got canceled video, right? And it's not like, this isn't going to be like people who did like legitimately evil things or people who had really controversial takes or what have you. This is like they did something genuinely stupid that isn't really that morally wrong, but would definitely, they wish they could take back, and it ruined their careers. Like one example I have is Ashley Simpson lip syncing on Saturday Night Live, which allegedly was kind of okayed by the staff. I was doing a little bit of homework on it. But do you remember when
Mm.
that happened in like 2008? I
Yeah.
want to say that ruined
No,
her
I do.
career. She was on a rocket ship to superstardom. She's Jessica Simpson's little sister, right? I think. And
Yeah.
then she was lip syncing on Saturday Night Live, and everyone made fun of her for like 10 years. She never crawled back from that.
That I was gonna say that's burned into my memory for no
Yeah,
reason.
for no reason.
Yeah.
And I read into it. It was like SNL had cleared it with her because she had bronchitis or something. She was sick, but she didn't want to miss the spot. She genuinely
Right.
couldn't sing. And some fucking idiot sound engineer played it before she got to the microphone, like hit play. It was not her fault at all. It was all planned, and it ruined her career. Then they had the jokes. I remember the jokes. It was like, Ashley Simpson is throwing out the opening pitch at the Yankees game, and there was a picture of a pitching machine behind. Like it was all photoshopped, AI generated pitching machine behind Ashley Simpson. It's so stupid.
Wow.
But that's kind of the gist of what it would be. Would you watch a video like that?
I would. I would. I would. I'm trying to think of like a political one. Oh, there was like, wasn't it the one time Obama wore like the American flag pin on the wrong side,
Yeah,
and
but
like Fox News like had a meltdown about it?
yeah, but that he wasn't canceled. Like I'm trying to find people whose
Yeah,
careers
yeah.
were.
Whose career was absolutely ruined by.
There was the guy. I mean, he ended up getting arrested, but was it Ron Blagojevich or Rob Blagojevich? He was the governor of Illinois when Obama was the senator, and then when Obama was running for president, he had that very odd quote where he said, and he is white, by the way. He said, "I'm blacker than Obama." Do you remember that?
I do remember
Yeah, I
that.
think it was Rob
Oh wow.
Blagojevich. I mean, that's not what got him canceled. He ended up getting arrested for like some kind of campaign fraud or something, but
Mm.
that was
They,
that's a political scandal I remember that was just stupid.
that was stupid. That was
Oh,
very stupid. There's a similar one. They didn't get canceled either, but Michael Jordan, when asked to support just like the black Democrat from his home state, was it South Carolina?
North
He said
Carolina?
Republic North Carolina. He said Republicans buy sneakers too.
That was him.
And
I go ahead.
but he gave a campaign contribution anyway. But people were like up in arms, like
Oh, about his
uproar
quote.
about his quote. And
Hmm.
it's just like such, I mean, it's just like a fact. I think it was also not, it was also a joke. He said to like Scottie Pippen, he explains it in The Last Dance, but on the bus, he's like, yeah, it was just a joke with Scottie
Hmm.
Pippen. I don't understand
What the big deal
but
was. I don't, yeah.
people freak out and remember it to this day.
Yeah. The Blagojevich one, I was just thinking he's lucky he said that in 2010, because I don't believe in today's political climate that would be acceptable in any manner. Yeah.
No, don't think so.
Dude, speaking of canceled people, but for evil things, and I'm sorry, we're just cycling through topics at this point. Um,
Yeah.
I tried to start watching a new documentary on HBO last night about Jared Fogle, the Subway guy. I
Oh, I
I,
can't.
I lasted 30 seconds. I can't.
Is it that bad?
Dude, he's such a monster. Like, I mean, obviously, like child porn is like
Uh,
the most evil
Now I
thing
remember.
ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but um 30 seconds in, they have audio recordings when he was, you know, it's unreal that this person said these things out loud, nonetheless, to FBI informants that were wiretapping him or wearing a wire or whatever. But just
Mhm.
hearing the things they were showing in the intro that he said, I said, I can't watch this.
I
It's too
can't do it.
disturbing. It's too
It's
messed
just
up. I can't believe they made a documentary on it.
it, that is crazy. I didn't think there'd be enough content. I'll be honest, like I didn't follow that story too closely, but it didn't seem like
From what I
anyone
go
needs
ahead.
to know that beyond he got, they got him and he's in prison. What,
Well,
like, where is the
oh
intrigue
well,
to that
yeah.
story?
Well, from what I remember, and I might have this wrong, but from what I remember, they were tailing him for years, trying to build a
Mm.
case because they were so worried that his lawyers would just get him out of anything with a small charge. And his neighbor, she went to the FBI and said he's a pedophile. I'm 100% sure of it. And
Mm.
they got her to become an informant. So she would wear a wire and talk to him, and he would ask her for videos of her kids. Like
Oh,
he asked her point blank, like, can you put a like camera in your kid's bedroom? And she just had to like
oh my
laugh along
God.
with it. And she complained for years to the FBI, don't you have enough to arrest him? Don't you have enough to arrest him? I've given you so many tapes. And they were like, no, we need more. We need more. We have to build a case. So it just took a really long time. And obviously, every day you don't bring in a child predator, they're out there predatoring, you know? So
Mm.
I'm sure that that's what the documentary is going to get into. And probably also, there was that whole other side of it where he essentially siphoned 80% of his foundation's contributions, like charitable contributions, to pay the CEO of his Jared's Kids Foundation to go like get him the pornography, the child pornography. So there was all that fraud as well. It was just insane
Wow.
stuff. And dude, I'm pretty sure he gets out in like a year or two. He only got, I want to say 7 years. I'll look this up right now. Like
Jesus.
he's gonna be back out of prison not too long. He only got 7, maybe 12 years. I'm gonna check that real quick. So
Wow.
nuts.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
The the one I'm late to the game, clearly. Just now watching The Last Dance. I tried to watch The Jinx.
What's that?
The it's the is it Robert Durst? He's like a real estate scion from Manhattan. They own like a bunch of really prestigious commercial real estate. And he basically gets ousted from his company. Um, and he's basically charged. Well, he's never like officially charged, but he's investigated for the disappearance of his wife, and they never could find, like, they could never like definitively prove it. And then they find him in Texas. He leaves New York, and he decapitates his roommate, and they're like certain it's him
Mm-hmm.
this time, right? And they're trying to tie him to like two other murders. And it's just like this guy has just no remorse. And you can
Wow.
even see in his eyes, like it's like mostly pupils.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a really kind of like scary, like I don't know, it was like a little too evil looking to even get into. But yeah, they he apparently admits on Wire that he did kill his wife, and that and
Wow.
they like he's in the documentary. They're interviewing him. They could never definitively get
Prove
any
it
evidence. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if his confession would count it in the court of law, but it counted in the court of opinion.
for
And I
sure.
think I think he's definitely, I think he has since died. But yeah, I
That's nuts.
late to the game. But yeah, I couldn't
What's
finish
that
it.
one called?
It's just called The Jinx.
All right, I'll have to check that one out. Just to update everyone. So Jared was sentenced in 2015, I believe, and he got 15 years. So he would be out in 7 years if that's correct. I could be wrong, but that's what it says on Wikipedia. And then the guy who was the head of the Jared Foundation, not the Jared's Kids, is what I called it earlier. He was arrested because he's also possession of child pornography and child
Hmm.
exploitation. He got 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
His projected release date is March 24th, 2029.
That sounds right.
Does
Wow.
that sound right? Okay.
Yeah. That's so nuts to me that he's gonna get out.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Oh,
I
go ahead.
oh no, I was watching old Survivor seasons, and this took a weird turn. Basically, a guy gets burned by his campfire,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to evacuate him from the island. He was
On
removed from the game of
Survivor.
Survivor. Yeah, but he was invited back in like Survivor All Star, where they bring back people that
Okay.
didn't make it, and apparently he was caught in possession of child pornography, and he was like sentenced to prison, and then
And
someone
then
I
the
went
episode aired.
well, I went back to the fire incident, and the top comment on YouTube was, "Who would have thought the fire was the good guy in this video?"
That's pretty great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that's oh my God. Well, since we're just on dark, dark, dark subjects, have you seen the Murdaugh murders documentary on Netflix or any of the Murdaugh stuff?
I I saw a little bit of it. I didn't completely finish it, but it
But
was
you
like in
know
the
the story,
background.
right?
Yeah, the son is like inebriated driving a boat,
Mm-hmm.
accidentally kills his friend. They cover it up, right? That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
something about it. Then he gets killed by his dad or something.
yeah, you pretty much got it. It's just like this family, uh, generations of lawyers, of really high profile lawyers in this small town in South Carolina, and they had tons of money, tons of resources, and essentially had been covering up their crimes for years, like lived above the law. Their 19-year-old kid, yeah, drunk boating accident, kills like his best friend's girlfriend. So there were 6 kids in the boating accident, and the girl died. I believe her name was, give me one second. I can't remember what her name was, like Mallory something. Anyway, she dies sadly. Um, and then Mallory Beach, that was her name. Dude, and they're like in the documentary, if you guys haven't seen it, they're interviewing the parents of all the kids, and it's so heartbreaking, it's unreal. And then for the next 2 years, the family gets the 19-year-old basically, out on bail. He's out on house arrest, living his life, but he's about to go on trial for this thing. And then one day, both him and his mother are murdered, and the father calls it in and says, like, someone came and murdered my son and my wife. And they end up bringing him in on separate charges a few months later. And it just turns out he's the one who did it. So he just got charged with their murder in March of this year, which is just nuts. But yeah, he was turned out to be like a massive opiate addict, and he was
Oh
getting pushed
wow.
out of his firm. So he was not had like no more access to money. And I think he had and then that was the thing. That wasn't even like the first time he like murdered someone to cash an insurance check or something. There was a story where their older son had allegedly a like closeted relationship with another boy at their school, and then that boy ended up dead on the side of the road, and it's pretty much assumed that the
Yeah.
family had something to do with it. And then their housekeeper or nanny for like 20 years died on their property, and shortly thereafter the father cashed out like a 7-figure insurance check on her life and kept
Oh.
every dollar. When he came out and said that he would give it to her kids and kept everything. So it's just, this guy's a complete fucking monster. I think.
Did,
Go ahead.
I said, didn't they find the body like? Oh, they found the body. Yeah, they found the body of the maid on his property, right?
Yeah.
She
So,
died. She died there, and they didn't think it was like they didn't think that was suspicious. Like
well,
that is like the worst place.
oh, it's so
You literally it's like
suspicious.
it's yeah, you're dying in this place where the person who owns your insurance policy.
Well, no, they had an insurance policy on their property to be paid out in the event of a death, I assume. Like it wasn't they didn't take out a life insurance policy on the nanny.
On the person. Oh,
No,
but
no.
you could buy life insurance
Well, not like
just
life,
like on a like
not life
on like a
insurance,
plot of
but
land.
and some type of insurance where he was able to make a claim because something so bad happened on his property, I suppose.
Hmm.
Um, what the happened was the son and wife, everyone thinks that they got in an argument and he pushed her down the stairs, the son, the 19-year-old son that got in the boating accident. That's kind of
Oh
the
wow.
theory that the Netflix documentary was pushing down my throat. But what they said was they called 911 and said she's hurt, she hit her head. They said she tripped over a dog and fell down the stairs. But It's probably not what happened, but that's what they said happened. Yeah. It's a pretty dark documentary, but I had like the flu or something a couple of weeks ago. After a friend's wedding, I got so sick. I just watched a
Oh, really?
ton of documentaries.
Did you make it back to LA before
Yeah, I was
you
back
got
in
sick?
LA and then just really tired the first day. Second day got worse, and I ended up going to the ER like that weekend because I was just
No.
coughing so badly that I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
So it was just I had no other options. So I ended up going to the ER. But
Well,
they test me for everything, no virus. They think it was just like a
Novi.
bacterial infection.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is crazy. I got a CT scan of like my face. It was ENT, right? Ear, nose, and throat. The issue being I've just had problems pretty much my whole life breathing out of my front nose, right? Like
What do you mean your
I
front
snore.
nose as opposed to your back nose? The one on your anus? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And just breathing from my nose, right? And not my mouth.
All right, so you
I've
just
always
decided to finally
always
get
just
this
been a
checked
mouth
out.
breather. So I finally get this checked out at 30 years of age.
Mm.
And sure enough, my
There's a
septum is,
bullet
yeah, there's a bullet
lodged in your
lodged. Yeah. The Murdoch guy
Murdoch guy.
shot me when I was 6.
No,
It's
but really,
crazy.
what
I knew
happened?
you wouldn't believe it. No, my septum is severely deviated. Get this, it's deviated on the left, and then it bends around and deviates to the right. So
It's like choking you out.
it's on both sides, and then it goes straight, like more straight back.
So they want
So
to operate?
they want to operate. So they're gonna have to, break the left, break the right, and then make it straight. And then
Nice.
they're gonna have to like stitch it together. So I'm not looking forward to that, but
But you can finally get that nose job you were after. And then just say
yeah.
it was for the deviated septum surgery. That's sweet,
Yeah.
man. That you're gonna
Yeah.
get it
So,
corrected. I mean, that sucks that it happened.
no, I was gonna say I'm gonna be like a Superman after this surgery because I've just been breathing wrong my whole life, and now nothing's gonna hold me back.
I
So
can't wait for you, man. This is
yeah,
awesome. You're
so
gonna run a marathon?
I'm gonna run a marathon. I'm gonna be able to jump like 10 feet at least. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. This is the first time I'm announcing it to anybody.
Oh,
It's on your
well,
podcast.
I'm so glad you decided to share that information with me. Good job,
You're
man.
welcome.
I thought for a minute you were gonna say you also got sick after the wedding, and I was gonna wonder what were in our drinks, man. But I
No.
think it was just it was just a crazy week of travel for me, and I think just got caught in the wrong end of some stuff.
Did they find a bullet lodged in your nose as well?
No, they didn't find anything. They just
Bacterial bullet?
They just said you're genetically inferior. You have no immune system. You suck.
Oh,
But doing better. So I hear you're also, once you get that deviated septum of yours repaired, you're thinking about traveling to Korea. Is that so?
oh, yeah, that is so.
This is kind of weird, but I applied to a study abroad grant program with the caveat of being it's for people that never got to study abroad in college or grad school.
You never studied abroad. I don't believe that. You've been to like 100 countries. You never studied abroad.
I have never studied abroad.
What did you?
I swear.
I don't believe that.
I swear.
You went definitely on spring break trips to other countries.
That doesn't count. That's not a study abroad.
Okay.
No, I've never been on a study abroad, and I was eligible for this grant. It's called Study Abroad Redo Grant. I mean, so
how did they check? Like, what if I lied and said I didn't do it?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. You'd have to be pretty convincing because you have to write a couple essays.
I have to be pretty convincing that I haven't been on a study abroad. I could convince anyone that. I could just tell them and they'd be like, yes, I believe you. Why would I lie about that?
Well, you're outed now. It's in the nether.
Well, I don't count that one.
Okay, look, so I never got to. And like to your point, I feel like I am someone who definitely should have. I got like during 2019, which was my first year of business school, I was 2 weeks away from going to Korea. Every week we're tracking this thing called like the novel coronavirus, and there's like 10 cases. We're like, okay,
You were
it's not
supposed
gonna
to
mess.
you were supposed to go in March, right? March of 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
20, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. March of 2020. So, but we're tracking it all through 2019, right? Like we had like instant access. We were actually chatting with people on the ground in Korea where we're saying like, hey, there's this thing that came from China. You might not be able
Whoa. I didn't want to get
to
political today.
I'm not, I'm just saying what they told me. I'm not saying that's what happened. No, they're saying like there's 20 cases here in this town, there's like 40 cases there, and then there was like 200 cases, and there's like 2,000 cases. And we're like, I don't think we're going on this trip next
Click
week.
and refresh every 5 seconds.
Yeah. And sure enough, our flights just got canceled. And I lost a decent amount of the deposits we put down. Like the whole trip was
Really?
planned. It was Korea and Japan. Yeah. Granted, the school actually gave us a grant to pay back for some of our deposits that we lost.
Pretty nice.
But yeah, I mean, so I applied to this program because I never got to do it, funding and taking time away, like academically, it wasn't the move in undergrad. And then grad school was like, this is my time to strike. And of course, just the midst of the pandemic is like the weekend before this trip.
Yeah, I remember you were pretty bummed out.
Yeah, I'm like still not over it 100%.
Well, I hope you get it. Well, do you know if you got it, or is that what you're here to announce?
I find out I'm gonna find out. Yeah, and I want to announce I got a CT scan of the. No, it's in 3 days. I'll let you know. Oh, you'll have to have me back on the podcast.
Yeah, sure. We'll do another podcast to announce your results. It'll be like a gender reveal. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah. I hope you get it. But so whether you get this or not, are you gonna go? And do you have to do anything educational if you get this grant? Like, is there some kind of program associated with it?
I kind of made my own itinerary. So I said I would take some Korean courses. This is not part of the program. I would take some Korean courses starting next month. Fly into Seoul, do the demilitarized zone. So go into like the little bit you can go into North Korea, the museums, war memorial, palace, some marketplaces, do like a bus tour thing. I actually said my educational aspect was go to the Hyundai car factory. That's got like a business edge to it.
I like that.
And then another like cultural thing was like the tour, like a tour of all the film locations, because they produce a lot of popular, media, a lot of Korean movies and TV shows. So, but yeah, I'd go to Busan, go to Jeju province, which is an island off the coast of Korea, where they still have women who actually dive to the bottom of the ocean, like pretty crazy depths. Like they're some of the last people that can do this, like hold their breath for like 10-15 minutes, and they find like octopus and like sea urchins, and that's like how they kind of provide for their family. So there's a book I read, Island of Sea Women. It's really good book. It's
that's
about
pretty insane,
the war, and about these women that live on this island. Yeah, so that's what I would like to do, and then meet you in Japan right after that.
I really hope I can get to Japan planning out. Now, how many AI tools did you use to build your Korean itinerary? I'm just looking at a few right now. Travelmoji, the Trip Boutique.
What are you serious?
AI trip planner. We're putting travel agents out of business, baby.
I actually used ChatGPT for this one. No, I
just used ChatGPT.
No, I didn't. I actually wrote this one myself.
What a waste of time. Congrats, man. I'm glad you're applying those hard-earned millennial skills.
Thanks, man. No, I appreciate it. All right, what about you? What's going on?
I think I told you I'm self-conscious about what strangers think of me on the internet. I told you that I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I watched some creepy documentaries. Yeah, man, got some friends coming to town this weekend in LA, going to see Blink-182. It's Adam, yeah.
And Mal.
And Mal, yeah, for anyone who doesn't know who those people are, those worthless thing to provide, but I appreciate you bringing their names into this. I'm excited to see them both. Dude, when are you coming back out to LA? Did you have fun last time you came to see me? Tell all our
did.
listeners how awesome LA is and how much you want to live here.
LA is a shithole. No one go. No one visit Alex. No, it's too much fun. Seriously. I will be back. I'll be back. I just need. I was gonna say I've felt like more at peace of the world since I've been back from LA.
Really?
It was too much commotion.
Yeah.
You know, I would even put it as I went to New York recently, and I would say LA was actually crazier, more fun than New York.
Yeah,
Pretty much ever is.
Yeah. For
For
those that don't know, Sean stopped in to see me in LA before we flew to Kentucky. And Sean lives in Salt Lake City. So if you're looking at a map, I'm sure you're quite confused right now. But he hung out with me for a couple days before he flew to Louisville, Kentucky for a little trip down the Bourbon Trail back in April. That was fun. We could talk about that as we want to probably wrap up in a second here, but anything you want to add about our little Bourbon Trail trip? Maybe we could do a full podcast on that later.
Yeah, I think it deserves its own. Honestly, yeah. I think we wouldn't do it justice if we just gave it a few minutes. But that was a great trip.
Have you been drinking a lot more bourbon since then?
You know, I actually haven't. What I will do though is if I have guests that I know like bourbon, I'll do like the tour, like the tasting, like do the Kentucky Chew, right? Do like the smells, like pair it with chocolate. I'll actually do that as like
give them the history.
Give them the history. Yeah, I'll do like a fun little history tour.
For those who go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I thought it would actually be a really good, cool business idea to do this in Park City, like for bachelor parties.
I thought you were gonna say to do the thing that we went and paid to do, like we paid a business to do in Kentucky.
No, I'm saying in Utah, you can't get a lot of these fancy whiskeys. Like it's a state-owned liquor store.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to somehow find a distributor that can get it to you, you do these tours in Park City for bachelor parties. I bet people would pay a lot and really enjoy it and have a good time and do like maybe an open bar afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, during COVID, my work did a couple like whiskey and chocolate pairing tasting events where they mailed it to you. So there's definitely people who do that, and that was virtual, but you don't get as much out of it virtually for sure. For those who don't know, when we went to Kentucky, there's only one way you can make bourbon for it to legally be bourbon. So we heard the exact same story 50 times at every distillery we went to. So my advice might be just do the one tour that you're really interested in and then just stick to tastings everywhere else. Because otherwise we were just shouting out the answers to all the questions at the end of the tours because we had heard it 50 times.
Well, sometimes we'd give them the wrong answer on purpose
because we're so funny. Because we're comedians.
Right, we're funny. They're like, what constitutes bourbon? We're like, it has to be made in Bourbon County, Kentucky. They're like, wrong. There's like bourbon can be made anywhere
in the United States.
In the United States. Yes.
Yeah. We never asked continental or otherwise.
Continental or otherwise? No,
actually,
it's continental.
I think I've seen a Hawaiian bourbon before.
There's a Hawaiian bourbon.
I think there might be. Let me see. I could be wrong. But...
Wasn't there something about a ship bourbon where it's technically not even on land where they make it?
That's Jefferson Ocean, but I think it's just that they store
the barrels on a ship, so it rocks and like gets more of a flavor profile. Right.
Some people say that there is a Hawaiian. Yes, there is a Hawaiian bourbon. It's called OPR Private Reserve Bourbon, Old Poly Road. But back to what you were saying. Yeah, Jefferson Ocean is a bourbon where they store the bourbon barrels on ships, and that allegedly gives it a saltwater taste because of the salty air from the seawater and the rocking does something. Some people say, I've had it. It's a really good bourbon. I don't know if I can like taste. I don't know if my palate's advanced enough to taste the salt water in the air that was near the barrels, but that was some people say that that's just a gimmick, but some people swear by it.
Do you taste the motion of the ocean?
I try, man. I try my best every day. Well, cool, man. I'm glad we got a little updates on life, and we gave people some scares around, serial pedophiles, serial murderers, um, updates around bourbon country. Anything else you want to share besides your deviated septum, Sean?
No, I feel great. I haven't had the surgery yet, but I already feel better just knowing.
Just knowing.
It's all about knowing.
Yeah. I think there would be some sort of moment of clarity, some sort of inner peace, but at the same time, a little bit of stress if I found out that there had been something wrong with me my entire
My
life.
whole,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, they ask me, they're like, what are the symptoms? And I'm like, they're like, when did it start? When did it end? I'm like, I've never been able to breathe. I'm just like, from as long as I remember, I've had problems with this. They're like, what do you mean? And you're just now getting this checked out. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't know you could just get it checked out.
Yeah, ENTs, man. And their ENTs are always booked out. They're incredibly hard to get appointments at for some reason.
It was the longest I've ever waited for a CT scan.
I bet.
I was there for 2 hours.
I was just thinking if there's been anything like that in my life. And when I tore my Achilles, they x-rayed it first just to make sure. Actually, I don't even know why they x-rayed it, because you have to MRI to know if it's torn. I think they just want to see if there's any other damage in there. This is when I first went to the ER, not when I was getting surgery or anything. And they said, oh yeah, so everything else is intact, but we saw, when did you break your ankle? And I said, I've never broken my ankle. They're like, oh yeah, you did.
Oh yeah.
And I was what are you talking about? And they're like, you have a fracture in there that is healed. And I said, I have no idea when that could have been. I mean, when I was in 12th grade, I remember rolling my ankle really badly playing basketball, and it hurt to walk for months, but I guess I
that was
broke
it.
it. I mean,
that was it.
I've had a million ankle rolls in my life, but I mean, it's possible that was it, I guess. But learning that I did that was interesting, because I just limped around for a couple months and then I was fine, I guess.
Wow. The more you know.
Yeah, the more you know.
The more you know. All right, I'm gonna order some food now.
Oh, dude, you're done? You're just bailing on me?
I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm bailing.
Right.
I think
Wow,
I'm
that
out.
was really unprofessional, Sean. That's something I expect out of Chris or even Tyler, but not you. You're supposed to be my podcasting expert. All right, next time I'll have you on, we'll talk about a business. I think I've got some ideas. We could talk about boring business. I've wanted to do that because
I like that. SMB, right? Small to medium business.
Sure, but just
boring.
more like that. There's all these BuzzFeed and TikToks coming out about how millennials could save themselves from AI by getting into boring businesses like laundromats and merger and acquisitions of Dunkin' Donuts, and just like, what else is like a boring, owning a vending machine, owning an ATM, porta potties, things that AI
something. Yeah, AI can't. AI can't make a porta potty.
Yeah, contracting stuff, windows, doors, things and that's the way millennials will save themselves. So I'd like to talk about that. I know you've probably learned quite a bit about boring businesses in your what is it, top 20, but closer to 20 than one business school program you attended.
You have to keep bringing up that joke. That's good. Yeah, no, we honestly don't cover it as much, or they didn't cover it as much in my classes in business school, but it's becoming something more and more topical as interest rates have gone up and multiples, like valuations, have gone down. People are now able to to realistically buy or search and buy with maybe some investors or some debt, right? Conventional loans or SBA loans. A business that's like already cash producing kind of from the get-go, right? Like you just have to service the loan, but I don't know if I would put laundromat in this category, but maybe like roofing, asphalting, snow removal, right? Landscaping, those types of businesses where it's like fragmented market, right? There isn't like one massive player. Your client list is very diversified, right? Not all your revenue is coming from like one person or one group. And it also, doesn't require the most like skilled labor, right? You can you can, the parts are more interchangeable. There's not like a key person risk to it. So yeah. Anyway, let's talk about it next time. I'd love
For
to.
sure. You see, loyal listeners, I even got just a few seconds of the business expert out of him. So you still got your business fix from businessman Sean here. So thanks, Sean. Appreciate you
top
joining.
business school, top 20 business school,
top 20
closer
business
to 20.
school.
Closer to 20 than what?
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you everyone for listening, for tuning in to Los Angeles this week. If you're a new listener, welcome. Hoping to get some more content out to you guys soon. Maybe I'll even make that video I was talking about. Sean, any last words? Okay, great. All right, everyone. You take care.